In the far reaches of the Vintar galaxy, stories of humans were considered nothing more than old myths. Alien races spoke of them in whispers, as if mentioning the name could summon an ancient ghost. Many believed humans had vanished long ago, leaving only tales of bravery, strength, and remarkable intelligence. To most, humans were a legend, a story told to teach young aliens about courage and the unknown. Commander Vero of the Skellery fleet had always been skeptical. The Skellery were one of the strongest races in their galaxy. Their ships could travel at incredible speeds, their weapons could destroy planets, and their technology was unmatched. Vero had spent decades commanding fleets, exploring uncharted systems, and observing distant civilizations. He had never encountered humans. He had never even seen proof that they existed. One day, a faint signal appeared on the edge of their sensors. It was subtle, almost hidden among the normal cosmic noise, but it was unlike anything the Skellery had ever detected. It was a structured pattern, with repeating pulses and signs of intentional design. Vero studied the signal closely. "Commander, it is coming from the Zythera system," reported Lieutenant Rahl, his communications officer. The system was believed to be uninhabited. No life signs were detected in the last survey. Vero narrowed his eyes. "Uninhabited or hidden?" he asked. "We need to investigate. Prepare a scouting fleet. We will go quietly and observe before making contact." The Zythera system was far from the center of the galaxy, a quiet collection of planets orbiting a bright blue star. The aliens expected an empty system, perhaps a barren world of rocks and ice. The Skellery fleet jumped into the system, their ships cutting through the dark space with precision. As they approached the largest planet, Vero noticed something unusual. The planet had the familiar blue and green colors of water and land. Clouds moved across its surface, and strange patterns of light suggested signs of activity. Something alive existed there, and it was advanced. "Commander, sensors are showing massive energy signatures on the surface and in orbit," Rahl said. "The readings are unlike anything we have seen before. The technology is advanced, but it does not match any known species." Vero felt a chill. Could it be possible that humans had survived? Could the legends be true? He ordered the fleet to remain hidden while they scanned the planet more carefully. The energy readings formed shapes that resembled ships, sleek, fast, and enormous. The ships moved with an elegance that was strange to the Skellery. There was a sense of purpose in their movements, as if they were aware of their surroundings and capable of anticipating threats. Suddenly, the silence was broken. A flash of light streaked across space. The Skellery fleet was hit by a precise energy blast. Shields flared, alarms sounded, and the fleet scrambled to respond. "They are firing at us!" Rahl shouted. "Commander, the humans are real." Vero's heart raced. He had faced countless enemies, but nothing like this. The energy beams were accurate, hitting their targets with deadly precision. Entire Skellery ships were disabled without a single warning shot. The humans were not attacking blindly. They were calculating, strategic, and terrifyingly efficient. Vero ordered his fleet to hold position. "Do not return fire yet. Observe their tactics. Learn what you can. This is a species unlike any other." The human ships moved with incredible speed, surrounding the Skellery fleet. Yet, they did not destroy everything immediately. Instead, they disabled ships, blocked escape routes, and forced the aliens to maneuver carefully. It was as if they were testing the Skellery, measuring their strength and intelligence. Vero realized the truth. The humans were not just real, they were a force that combined strength, strategy, and ingenuity in a way that no other species had achieved. Their tactics were unpredictable, their decisions fast, and their coordination flawless. Every move the Skellery made was met with an appropriate counter. A young officer on the human side, Mara, directed one of the largest ships. She gave calm and precise orders, guiding smaller ships to block and disable the alien vessels. Vero watched, fascinated and fearful, as her actions demonstrated leadership and intelligence that exceeded even the best commanders in his fleet. For centuries, the galaxy had dismissed humans as myths. Entire civilizations had laughed at the thought of such a species existing. Yet here they were, alive, organized, and more dangerous than anything the Skellery had encountered. Vero's skepticism vanished, replaced by awe and a growing sense of caution. As the fleet continued to observe, the planet below seemed alive with activity. Cities, vehicles, and energy grids moved in harmony. The humans were not only skilled in space combat, they had built a civilization that combined technology and ingenuity in ways the aliens could barely imagine. Vero knew one thing for certain: the legends were true. Humans were real. They were not weak, they were not gone, and they were not to be underestimated. The Skellery had underestimated them for centuries, and that mistake could cost them everything. Commander Vero took a deep breath. "Prepare for further observation," he said. "We will learn what we can about this species. The galaxy has changed. Humans are not myths. They are the future challenge we cannot ignore." The human ships continued to move, powerful and mysterious, ready for whatever the Skellery might attempt next. And for the first time in history, an entire alien fleet understood that the humans they had laughed at were not only real, they were extraordinary. The Skellery fleet drifted in the Zythera system, still stunned by the precision of the human ships. The aliens had faced countless enemies in their long history, but none had fought like this. The humans were fast, accurate, and coordinated in ways the Skellery had never seen. Commander Vero stared at the tactical display, his mind racing. "Lieutenant Rahl, bring up the detailed scans of their ships," Vero ordered. "I need to understand their technology before we make any further moves." Rahl nodded, fingers flying over the console. The scans showed ships that were sleek, metallic, and unlike anything in the known galaxy. Their shapes were designed for speed and agility, with weapons integrated into the structure so that every part of the ship could serve multiple purposes. Shields glimmered faintly around each vessel, absorbing energy from the Skellery weapons before it could cause damage. "They are extraordinary," Rahl said quietly. "Their shields adapt quickly. The energy we fire at them is neutralized before it even hits critical systems." Vero clenched his jaw. "And yet they are few in number. How can so few ships challenge an entire fleet? This is not just skill. This is intelligence." The humans did not waste time with unnecessary attacks. Each movement was precise. One of their smaller ships zipped past a Skellery destroyer and fired a carefully calculated energy pulse. The destroyer's engines failed instantly, leaving it drifting. Another human vessel fired a magnetic pulse that disrupted the targeting systems of several alien ships at once. "Commander, they are hurting us," Rahl observed. "They are guiding our fleet as if they know exactly how we will react." Vero nodded. "They are analyzing our strategy. They are learning faster than we can adapt." From the bridge of the lead human ship, Mara monitored the Skellery fleet. Her hands moved swiftly over her controls as she issued calm, precise orders. She did not shout. She did not panic. Every decision was measured. Her crew moved in harmony, a single unit acting as one mind. "Deploy interceptors to Sector 7, Mara said. "Use the decoy ships to draw their fire. Once they are distracted, disable their lead frigate." The small ships shot forward, faster than the eye could follow. Energy pulses streaked through space, hitting alien ships with precision. One by one, the Skellery vessels found themselves disabled or forced to maneuver defensively. Vero realized the humans were not just powerful, they were smart. They could anticipate moves before they happened. Their combat style was adaptive and creative. No Skellery commander had ever seen tactics like this, and he had fought in more than 100 battles. "Prepare a retreat plan," Vero said, though his voice carried more awe than fear. We cannot match them head to head. We must observe and learn from this species before we engage further. The human ships moved elegantly through space, avoiding unnecessary destruction. They did not annihilate the fleet. Instead, they disabled ships strategically, leaving a clear message: humans could destroy the Skellery at will, but they chose to show control and discipline. Vero watched as Mara's ship fired a calculated pulse that immobilized one of the largest Skellery cruisers. She then guided a smaller vessel to rescue the alien crew, who were trapped inside. The act was unexpected. The humans were fierce warriors, yet they showed mercy. "This is beyond combat," Rahl said. "They are teaching us something about strategy and restraint at the same time." Vero nodded slowly. He had spent decades thinking in terms of power and weapons, but the humans were teaching him a different lesson. Their strength was not just in technology, it was in intelligence, foresight, and coordination. Every move had purpose. Every action had meaning. For the first time, the Skellery fleet felt the weight of true caution. Commander Vero had fought countless wars, but he had never faced an opponent like this. The humans were not reckless or cruel. They were disciplined, precise, and terrifyingly effective. The planet below them glowed with life. Cities, transport lines, and energy grids moved in harmony. The human civilization was advanced, structured, and resilient. It was clear that this was not a species that survived by chance. They thrived because of skill, ingenuity, and cooperation. Vero realized that the legends had been true. Humans were not myths. They were a living, breathing force, more intelligent and capable than any other species in the galaxy. Their strength came from more than weapons. They had strategy, teamwork, and the ability to think beyond the immediate moment. As the human ships prepared to withdraw, Mara issued one final order: maintain observation. We leave the disabled vessels as a warning. They will learn that humans are real, and they will remember it. Vero watched silently as the human ships disappeared into space. The aliens had faced a glimpse of something extraordinary. The myths were true, and humanity was not to be underestimated. The commander turned to his officers. "Report to the fleet," he said. "Prepare for full analysis. The galaxy has changed today. Humans are real, and they are unlike anything we have ever seen. For the first time in centuries, the Skellery and other alien races would have to rethink their place in the galaxy. A species once dismissed as legend had returned, and the universe would never be the same again." Commander Vero felt a mixture of awe and unease as he watched the humans disappear into the depths of the Zythera system. His fleet had never faced an enemy that moved with such intelligence. The humans had not only disabled several Skellery ships but had also demonstrated a level of strategy that made retreat difficult. Vero knew one thing clearly: this was no ordinary species, and underestimating them could cost the entire fleet. "Commander, they are moving to the outer sectors," Lieutenant Rahl reported, his voice tight with tension. "They are fast, and their trajectory suggests they are guiding us away from the planet." Vero studied the tactical display. "They are luring us into space, testing our reaction," he said. "They want to see how far we will pursue, how much we can handle. We must adapt or we risk total defeat." Vero gave an order to pursue cautiously. The Skellery fleet moved forward, engines glowing with power, but every maneuver was deliberate. They had learned from the first encounter that rushing forward recklessly would lead to more disabled ships. The humans, aware of the pursuit, executed a series of precise maneuvers. Smaller ships split off from the main group, creating diversions. Energy pulses were fired not to destroy, but to disable targeting systems and engines of pursuing Skellery ships. Every action was calculated to keep the aliens on edge. On the human flagship, Mara watched the Skellery fleet carefully. She knew that the aliens would soon try a full assault if given the chance. Her hands moved over her controls with calm efficiency. She issued orders to interceptors, guiding them in patterns that maximized efficiency and minimized risk. Every movement of her crew was synchronized, as if they were extensions of a single mind. Captain Mara, sensors detect multiple ships preparing an ambush in Sector 12, reported her officer, Taro. They may try to trap us between their fleet and a nearby asteroid field. Mara nodded. Activate the decoy ships and draw them into the open, she said. The ambush will fail if we control the engagement. The decoy ships accelerated, weaving through the asteroid field with unmatched precision. The Skellery fleet, thinking they had an opportunity, followed aggressively. In response, the main human ships moved in from a different angle, targeting the alien lead vessels with precision pulses. Several Skellery ships were disabled instantly, leaving the fleet in disarray. Vero realized the humans were not only faster but also smarter in combat. They adapted to every move he made, anticipating responses before he could execute them. Every decision he made had consequences, and the humans exploited each one. They are predicting our strategy, Rahl said in disbelief. We have never faced an opponent who can read our moves so quickly. Vero's eyes narrowed. They are not just reading our strategy. They are testing our limits, seeing what we can do, and then responding with superior tactics. The chase continued across the Zythera system. Skellery ships attempted to form formations, hoping to trap the humans, but each attempt was countered flawlessly. Smaller human vessels moved around obstacles, using speed and agility to disable weapons and engines without unnecessary destruction. Larger ships provided cover, ensuring that no human vessel was left exposed. Vero began to understand something vital. Humans were not just fighters, they were teachers of strategy. Their methods were designed not only to win battles but also to show the aliens the limits of their own capabilities. Each engagement taught the Skellery fleet lessons in precision, discipline, and foresight. Hours passed, and the alien fleet grew exhausted. Their ships had sustained minor damage, and their crews were tense from constant maneuvering. Mara, on the other hand, remained calm. She knew the importance of control and patience. Every movement had a purpose, and her crew executed orders flawlessly. At one point, a smaller Skellery ship managed to fire a powerful energy pulse at a human vessel. The pulse was strong, but the human ship's shield absorbed the impact and reflected part of the energy back, disabling the alien ship instantly. The sight stunned Vero. The humans were not only defensive but could turn attacks into opportunities. Vero realized that conventional tactics would never work against humans. They were unpredictable, intelligent, and highly disciplined. The Skellery could no longer rely on sheer power. They had to think differently or risk total defeat. As the chase continued, the humans finally began to retreat toward the inner system, drawing the Skellery fleet away from the planet. Mara issued one final order to her crew: maintain formation, protect the disabled vessels, and ensure no harm comes to civilians on the planet below. Even during combat, the humans showed responsibility and restraint. Vero watched from his command ship, a mixture of respect and fear building inside him. The humans had not only proven their strength but had also demonstrated values that the Skellery rarely saw in warfare: discipline, intelligence, and compassion. The Skellery fleet slowed, realizing they had reached the limits of pursuit. Vero gave the order to regroup. We will continue to observe, he said. This species is extraordinary. Humans are no myth. They are real, and they are unlike anything we have ever encountered. For the first time, the aliens understood that humans were more than a threat. They were a force that demanded respect, intelligence, and caution. The chase had ended for now, but the lesson had only begun. After the chase across the Zythera system, Commander Vero ordered the Skellery fleet to regroup near a safe distance from the human ships. His officers were tense but relieved. The humans had retreated, yet their presence had left a lasting impression. The aliens were shaken by the skill, discipline, and intelligence displayed by a species they had long considered mythical. Vero paced the bridge of his command ship, thinking deeply. For centuries, his people had dismissed humans as a legend. They had assumed humans were weak and long gone. Now, he understood how wrong they had been. Humans were real, alive, and powerful beyond imagination. Lieutenant Rahl approached, his voice low. "Commander, we have intercepted more transmissions from the humans. I have analyzed the patterns. Their language is complex, but I can see something remarkable." Vero turned to him. "What is it, Rahl?" "They communicate in a way that is fast, precise, and efficient," Rahl said. "Every command, every response is coordinated. Their strategy is not just reactive. It is predictive. They think ahead, and they adapt instantly to new threats." Vero nodded slowly. "It is not just technology that makes them dangerous. It is intelligence and instinct. They understand how to survive and win, no matter the odds." The Skellery fleet watched the humans from a distance, trying to understand them. Every movement, every tactic revealed a layer of intelligence. The humans were not reckless warriors. They fought with purpose and restraint. They did not destroy without reason. They disabled when necessary and protected when possible. Vero remembered how Mara's ship had guided smaller vessels to safety and how they had even protected alien crews trapped in disabled ships. Such acts of mercy were alien concepts to most Skellery commanders. The humans were not only fighters but also protectors, using their strength responsibly. "Commander," Rahl said, "I believe we are witnessing more than combat skills. Humans seem to operate with values. Their strategy includes morality, which is something unusual for any species we have faced." Vero considered this. "It explains why they do not act with total aggression. They are calculating, but they are not cruel. They fight to defend and protect. This changes everything we thought about them." The alien officers murmured among themselves. Many were skeptical, but even they could not deny the evidence. The humans had shown skill and intelligence that surpassed anything in the galaxy. They had also shown discipline, teamwork, and restraint. Vero ordered his scientists and tacticians to study the human ships and their movements in detail. The analysis revealed advanced technology, but the real advantage was in their tactics. Humans moved as a single unit, predicting enemy responses and adjusting quickly. They could coordinate actions across vast distances with precision. "They are adaptable," Vero said. "Our standard fleet formations do not work against them. They find weaknesses in real time and exploit them without hesitation." Rahl added, "And they seem to inspire loyalty. Their crew works as one, trusting each other completely. It is not just training. It is instinct, discipline, and cooperation combined. They are remarkable." Vero leaned on the railing, looking at the distant stars. He realized that the galaxy had been wrong about humans for centuries. Every alien race that dismissed them had made a mistake. Humans were not myths. They were a species of extraordinary capability, a blend of intelligence, courage, and moral strength. The humans had also sent a message through their actions. They were not seeking war for conquest. They fought when necessary, but they protected when they could. They valued life, even the life of those who opposed them. This approach was unfamiliar to most alien species, who often measured strength by destruction and domination. Vero turned to his officers. "We must learn from them. They are not just enemies. They are a species that can teach us about strategy, unity, and intelligence. We cannot fight them as we fight others. We must observe, adapt, and respect what we face." The aliens continued to monitor the humans. From their observations, they could see human civilization thriving on the planet below. Cities moved with harmony, energy grids operated efficiently, and life was organized yet flexible. Humans had built a world that balanced technology, survival, and cooperation. Rahl pointed to the displays. "Commander, the humans' leadership is visible even in battle. One human, Mara, coordinated the fleet during our encounter. Her actions prevented unnecessary loss and maximized efficiency. She is a commander of exceptional skill. Vero nodded. She is an example of what humans represent. They are capable leaders, quick thinkers, and protectors of their people. We have underestimated them for far too long. As the fleet prepared to return to the Zytheris system in a defensive position, Vero made a decision. We will continue to observe. We will learn. The humans are not myths. They are the truth, and the galaxy must take notice. We have faced something extraordinary, and we must not forget it. The human ships moved quietly in the distance, their presence a reminder of a species that had returned from legend to reality. Commander Vero and the Skellery fleet understood that the humans were more than powerful warriors. They were intelligent, disciplined, and moral. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a species that could not be ignored. For the first time, the Skellery acknowledged the humans not as myth, but as a force that could change the balance of the universe. Commander Vero stood on the bridge of his flagship, staring at the human ships as they glided effortlessly through space. The Zytheris system had become a battlefield of strategy, and for the first time, Vero felt uncertainty in the face of an enemy. The humans were fast, clever, and disciplined, and the Skellery fleet had already suffered losses. "Commander," Lieutenant Rahl said, "if we do not act now, we risk losing more ships. Our fleet is scattered, and their tactics continue to outmatch us." Vero's gaze remained fixed on the humans. "We will launch a full-scale assault," he said calmly. "We have power in numbers. Perhaps we can overwhelm them, but we must remain cautious. Every move must be calculated." The Skellery fleet moved into formation. Hundreds of ships glimmered in space, engines bright, and weapons charged. They advanced toward the humans, confident that their numbers could dominate. The humans, however, were ready. They anticipated the assault and adjusted their positions with precision. On the human flagship, Mara observed the approaching fleet. "Prepare defensive formations," she said. "Do not engage recklessly. Focus on disabling, not destroying. Protect the smaller ships and civilian areas below. We fight to survive, not to conquer." The battle began. The Skellery fired energy blasts from multiple directions, hoping to catch the humans off guard. The human fleet moved like water, weaving through the attacks with speed and grace. Small ships darted between the larger vessels, targeting weapons systems and engines with calculated precision. Vero watched in disbelief. "They are not just defending. They are directing the battle, controlling the flow of combat," he said. "Every move we make is countered before we can execute it." One human ship, led by Mara, advanced toward the center of the Skellery formation. The alien ships opened fire, but every blast was absorbed or deflected. With careful targeting, Mara disabled the lead alien frigate, causing confusion and forcing the surrounding ships to maneuver defensively. "Commander, their coordination is extraordinary," Rahl said. "They are working as one. Their fleet is a single entity, responding instantly to threats." Vero clenched his hands. He had expected the humans to be strong, but not like this. Their combination of speed, intelligence, and teamwork was unlike anything in the galaxy. The Skellery had never faced an opponent that could anticipate their actions and exploit weaknesses so quickly. The humans continued to press the advantage without unnecessary destruction. They targeted critical systems, disabling alien ships while leaving crews unharmed when possible. Mara's leadership was visible in every maneuver. Her calm decisions, careful strategy, and moral restraint inspired the entire fleet. At one point, a human ship moved directly in front of a smaller alien vessel that was being attacked by a Skellery cruiser. The human ship absorbed the attack, shielding the alien and guiding it to safety. Vero's officers stared in shock. This was not just battle. This was a display of intelligence, skill, and mercy. "They fight to protect, not just to destroy," Ral said quietly. This is unlike anything we have seen. Their strength comes from more than weapons. It comes from their values. Vero realized that the humans were teaching a lesson beyond combat. Their tactics showed discipline, foresight, and morality. Every strike was precise, every defense calculated, and every action purposeful. The Skellery had assumed that strength came from numbers and firepower. Humans proved that true strength came from intelligence, coordination, and principle. The battle raged on, but the humans maintained control. Smaller Skellery ships tried to flank them, but they were intercepted and disabled before causing significant damage. Larger Skellery cruisers fired continuously, yet the humans adapted instantly, using decoys and precise energy pulses to neutralize the attacks. Vero knew that conventional tactics would fail. The Skellery could not overwhelm the humans with numbers or power alone. The humans' ability to adapt, protect their allies, and coordinate as a single unit made them nearly unbeatable. Then, Mara made a bold move. She guided a small strike team directly into the center of the alien formation, targeting the heavily armed Skellery lead ships. The maneuver was risky, but it worked. Alien ships faltered, their formation broke, and chaos spread among the fleet. The humans did not destroy them completely, but they had demonstrated that strategy, courage, and intelligence could overcome overwhelming force. Vero took a deep breath. He had seen many battles, but never one like this. The humans were not only real, they were extraordinary. They combined speed, technology, intelligence, and morality in ways that no other species had mastered. The Skellery fleet retreated to regroup. Commander Vero called a meeting of his senior officers. "We have underestimated humans for too long," he said. "They are not myths. They are real. They are clever, disciplined, and strong. We must learn from them and respect them. Any future engagement will require intelligence and caution. We cannot fight them as we fight others." The humans, having completed their defensive operation, withdrew to the outer regions of the system. They had won not by destruction alone, but by demonstrating skill, strategy, and restraint. They had turned a battle into a lesson for the aliens, showing that true strength included intelligence, courage, and morality. For the first time, the Skellery understood the meaning of the legends. Humans were not only capable fighters, they were extraordinary beings who could change the balance of power in the galaxy. The turning point had arrived, and the Skellery knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. Commander Vero watched as the human ships moved steadily through space, retreating without haste but with clear purpose. His fleet had regrouped, and for the first time, the alien commander felt a mixture of respect and unease. The humans had not attacked recklessly. They had fought with precision, intelligence, and a sense of responsibility that the Skellery had rarely seen in any species. Lieutenant Ral approached, holding a data pad filled with information gathered during the recent encounters. "Commander," he said, "we have intercepted communications between their ships. The humans are coordinating in a way that shows discipline, foresight, and planning. Their commands are concise, yet full of strategy. It is unlike anything we have encountered." Vero nodded slowly. "They are more than warriors. They are thinkers, teachers, and leaders in battle. Every move they make carries purpose, and they protect those around them, even their enemies when possible. This is what sets them apart." The Skellery fleet observed as one human ship, led by Mara, guided smaller vessels to safety, ensuring that none were left behind. Mara issued commands with calm authority, each decision precise and effective. The aliens realized that humans did not rely solely on firepower. They relied on intelligence, adaptability, and cooperation. "They are not just reacting to us," Ral continued. "They are predicting our actions, learning from them, and adjusting instantly. Their coordination is remarkable. Their fleet acts as one mind, with each individual contributing to the whole." Vero's eyes narrowed. He had seen many battles, but never one where a species fought with such skill and restraint. Humans combined strength, strategy, and morality in a way that made them extraordinary. Their power did not lie solely in technology, but in how they used it. The commander decided that further observation was necessary. The Skellery had underestimated humans for centuries. Now, they had to understand them fully, not just as enemies, but as a species that could shape the galaxy. "Prepare a small observation team," Vero ordered. "We need to study them more closely. Their technology, their strategy, and their values. We may learn from them rather than just fight them." A team of Skellery scouts followed the human fleet at a safe distance. From orbit, they watched the planet below, a world alive with civilization. Cities thrived with energy and organization, transport systems moved efficiently, and communication networks coordinated activities seamlessly. Humans had built a society that balanced survival, progress, and cooperation. "Commander," Rahl said, "their civilization is impressive. Their ability to manage technology, protect life, and work together is extraordinary. They are not just fighters, they are builders, thinkers, and leaders." Vero observed the human fleet as it paused near the outer edge of the system. Mara and her officers held a council, discussing their next moves. Even in these meetings, the humans displayed intelligence, foresight, and consideration for both their own people and others. They were not only skilled in combat, but in leadership and diplomacy. Vero realized that the legends were true in more ways than one. Humans were not myths. They were a species of incredible capability, intelligence, and moral strength. They combined courage, skill, and foresight in ways that no other species had mastered. "They fight to survive, but they also fight to protect," Vero said quietly. "They are disciplined, clever, and moral. We have underestimated them for too long." The Skellery began to understand a truth that had been hidden for centuries. Humans were not reckless warriors. They were strategic, thoughtful, and ethical. They could outthink and outmaneuver the strongest fleets in the galaxy, not through brute force alone, but through intelligence, teamwork, and foresight. Mara's ship guided the human fleet back toward the inner system, ensuring that civilian areas were safe and that no unnecessary destruction occurred. The aliens watched in awe. Humans had demonstrated that strength was not measured only by weapons or numbers, but by the ability to act with intelligence, strategy, and responsibility. Vero called his officers together. "We have faced a species that has changed our understanding of warfare and intelligence," he said. "Humans are not just fighters. They are innovators, protectors, and leaders. We must respect them. Any future conflict will require strategy, caution, and insight. Underestimating them again would be a grave mistake." The humans, unaware of the depth of the observation, continued their operations. Yet, their actions had already left a lasting impression. The Skellery had learned a powerful lesson: humans were capable of extraordinary things, not just in battle, but in thought, leadership, and morality. For the first time, Commander Vero admitted that the humans were more than legends. They were real, intelligent, and capable of shaping the course of the galaxy. Their combination of courage, foresight, and moral strength made them a force unlike any other. As the observation team returned to the Skellery fleet, Vero looked at the stars and spoke quietly, mostly to himself. The myths were true. Humans are not only real, they are remarkable. The galaxy will remember this day. We will never forget them. And with that, the humans remained a mystery and a marvel, a species whose strength came not just from weapons, but from intelligence, unity, and the courage to act with principle in every situation. The revelation had changed everything the Skellery knew about the galaxy and their place in it. The human fleet moved through the Zythera system with calm purpose. Mara stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching the alien fleet that had been observing them. She understood the impact their presence had made. The humans had not come to conquer, yet their strength and intelligence had left the Skellery fleet in awe. Commander Vero's flagship hovered at a safe distance, his officers studying the humans carefully. They had learned lessons they had never expected. Humans were intelligent, disciplined, and remarkably strategic. They had seen humans fight, adapt, and protect others, and it had changed everything the Skellery thought they knew about this species. "Commander, they are retreating from the system," Lieutenant Rahl said. "They are not running out of fear. Their movements suggest strategy and calculation. They are leaving us with a message." Vero nodded slowly. "Yes. Humans fight to protect, to survive, and to teach. Their actions show respect for life, even the lives of those who oppose them. That is something we rarely see in the galaxy." Mara issued her final orders to the human fleet. "Maintain formation and monitor the Skellery fleet. Ensure there are no unintended attacks. We leave a clear warning: underestimate humans at your own risk." The humans did not fire as they departed. Their actions were precise, powerful, and disciplined. Every move communicated intelligence, foresight, and moral strength. They left the Skellery with no doubt that humans were real, formidable, and to be respected. Vero called a meeting of his senior officers. The room was tense but filled with awe. "We have witnessed a species unlike any other," he said. "Humans are not myths. They are strong, intelligent, and morally guided. They fight not just with weapons, but with strategy, cooperation, and foresight. We must respect them and learn from them." Rahl added, "Commander, their leadership is remarkable." Mara and her officers coordinated their fleet flawlessly. Every action was calculated, every decision precise. Their intelligence and discipline allowed a small fleet to outmaneuver and outthink an entire Skellery armada. Vero nodded. "The galaxy has underestimated humans for centuries. That mistake cannot be repeated. They are capable of extraordinary things, not only in battle but in leadership, cooperation, and strategy. We must record every detail and share it with all Skellery fleets." The alien officers began to discuss what they had learned. Humans had taught them lessons in discipline, tactics, and ethics. They had proven that intelligence and morality could be as powerful as weapons. The Skellery fleet had seen firsthand that humans were not only real, but extraordinary. Meanwhile, Mara guided the human fleet toward the outer edge of the system. Her crew remained vigilant, watching the alien fleet while ensuring the safety of their own ships. Humans had won not through destruction, but by demonstrating skill, intelligence, and control. They had shown that true strength came from foresight, teamwork, and principle. On the Skellery flagship, Vero watched silently. He realized that the humans' actions had done more than defend themselves. They had reshaped the understanding of their species across the galaxy. For centuries, humans had been dismissed as myth. Now, they were recognized as a force that demanded attention and respect. "They have changed our perception forever," Vero said softly. "The galaxy will never see humans the same way again. They are intelligent, courageous, and honorable. We must remember this." As the human fleet disappeared from view, Vero gave the order to compile all data and reports. "This is a turning point," he said. "All Skellery fleets must know what humans are capable of. Any engagement with them in the future must be approached with intelligence, caution, and respect." The Zythera system fell silent once more, but the echoes of the humans' presence remained. Cities on the planet continued their normal routines, unaware of the deep impression their species had left on a powerful alien fleet. Humans had returned from legend to reality, and their actions had inspired awe across the galaxy. Back on Mara's flagship, she looked at her crew and smiled. "We have shown them who we are," she said. "Not through fear, but through skill, intelligence, and unity. That is what it means to be human." Her crew nodded, proud of what they had accomplished. They had faced a powerful enemy, proven their abilities, and left a message that would be remembered. Humans were not myths. They were real, and they had changed the galaxy simply by being themselves. Commander Vero stood one last time on his bridge, watching the stars where the humans had vanished. He knew that humanity's story was just beginning. The galaxy would watch carefully, knowing that a species once dismissed as legend had returned with strength, intelligence, and moral courage. The humans had taught the Skellery a lesson that no weapon could deliver. True power lay not only in technology or numbers, but in intelligence, cooperation, foresight, and honor. The myths had become reality, and the galaxy would never underestimate humans again. With that, the Zytheris system returned to quiet. The humans had left, but their presence was permanent. A new respect had been forged, and the story of humanity would spread across the stars as a warning, a lesson, and an inspiration. The legend of humans was no longer a tale of the past. It was alive, real, and extraordinary.